Here we are, face to face, just a couple of silver spoons. Together, we're gonna find our way. Together, taking the time each day. Some shit, I don't remember how it goes. Silver spoons, bro. You gotta be fucking old fart like me, dude, to remember that fucking show. They used to come on when I was a kid, dude. I loved it. I had Ricky Schroeder, and it had Carlton Banks before, you know what I'm saying? Before he was on the Fresh Prince, and he was like really little and shit. You know, I kind of wonder if the Fresh Prince kind of branched off of Silver Spoons, because think about it. Carlton is in a rich neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, with the Fresh Prince, Bel Air, you know. And then I bet, too, that Ricky Schroeder lived in that neighborhood, and that's how they probably branched it off. That'd be crazy, man, if Fresh Prince was like a branch of... It was like a branch off from Silver Spoons. Fuck, dude. Can you believe that shit? Anyway, I don't have much here of a beat to mix, but I learned stuff. That's why I wanted to sing the rest of the Silver Spoon song that I can remember out of my memory. Because together we're going to find our way. And the reason why is because I learned shit about this thing. I've been using it for like a couple years now, but I didn't use it. I actually finally, you know, it's like you get a video game or something and you just like start playing the game and you learn it and then you read the instruction manual later like, oh, you mean I could have done that? That's kind of how I am about these plugins too, man. So anyway, we love the 9000J, buddy. The more that I learn about it, the more I realize what they've done. Like, they've made this into hell of a beast. But for me to have a 9000J sound just completely... I think my last video I used the 4000G. I like the 4000G also. I like them all. Okay? Sue me. I like them all. But for this one, though, 9000J... And I'm kind of going with that because I want more of a simpler workflow. I don't want to be putting tape on everything. And I go, in modern times, we don't do tape. But yet they're getting these wonderful mixes anyway. So I need to find out how to do shit in a modern sense. So it's kind of like I'm learning how to drive by starting by creating the wheel and then advancing to the point where I actually know how to drive. So in this case, I learned more about what this bad boy does than before. So I'm just going to start working it and then I'll just tell you as I work. But I think we're going to start with this drum track I had here I made with the Beats by the Pound VST. So it's got all the drums on one channel. So in this case, I'm going to treat it more like a bus in a way. And I have kind of the things that I like to do, but I'm going to start using like this mid. I'm going to solo the mids and sides too to kind of hear what it's doing. Not necessarily on the drums per se, but like when I found out that's a way to like check for masking issues on sounds. So I was like, oh shit, I never really thought about doing that. That's cool that they have it on there, you know. So that's an addition. You know, they didn't really have that on the console, but so what? That's the joy of digital, right? We can have the sound of the console and then do more than the console could do. And then, you know, a link that I never used the link button. I realized that maybe on drums I should probably link the compressor to both sides, to one channel, so that I have the same compressor response. I don't have like this offset compressor response. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else, I know how to gate my noise. I know how to do all the other shit. And probably I'm gonna be more surgical about my EQ approach to try to find the sweet spots on everything. So let's get going, man. Fuck yeah. I know you guys like hearing me talk. I know you guys love it. And that's the only reason why you guys like and subscribe to my shit. But come on, man. I gotta do some mixing, man. I can't talk all the time. Let's go. Dude, that link button like looked like it turned it into mono, dude. I'm not feeling that. Like that's what it looks like. Well, I guess it's linking the compressor. Yeah, it's just showing the compressor expander instead of having to. Okay, it's not linking the audio. Okay, never mind. It's not linking the audio channels. Huh. God. All right, let me continue. Some drums are knocking, huh? Shit. So I learned a little bit. I decided I'm gonna do more New York compression, especially on drums. And thankfully, that's why we have the mix knob. So in this case, I have it at 30%. I linked the compressors left and right channels. Of course, I gated the noise. I like the EQ into the compressor, and we did some surgical EQ, and I also used the high pass filter because I felt like it was a little bright. Sorry, low pass filter. Low pass. What the fuck am I talking about? Low pass filter. I always, when I say high pass, and I mean like, oh, I'm getting rid of the high stuff, but I meant to say low pass because we're letting the low pass through, not the high. So anyway, yeah, that sounds good so far. And then of course I bypassed it, see if it actually improved the sound. Improved it a lot. That's why I compressed it a little harder, and then I just paralleled it. Shit, you know what I'm saying? That sounded pretty dope, right? New York compression, buddy. New York. I'm not in New York though, but I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but whatever. New York compression. Let's go. That's it. Yeah, it took a little bit longer. It's just a beat. It's a kind of like I said, it's a late '90s, maybe early 2000s. Kind of a G-funk hip hop beat or whatever. It's kind of what I was going for on that. Technically, this console existed at that time, but I don't think that hip hop records at that time were being mixed on 9000J series consoles until later. But we have the sound. So the sound comes from the channel strip and the bus compressor. It's like 90% of it. But I also have Brit Console giving us the extra 10%. We have two, and this is a preset. So it's 2.5 character, which means that the audio is passing through the console 2.5 times. I guess when they made the preset, they thought that maybe by adding a little more character, it probably sounded closer to the real console. The idea here is that, let's imagine that we recorded into a workstation of some kind, but passed the audio through the 9000 console without doing anything. Then the second time around, we mixed, and then we printed that mix back through the console again, Mixed through the console again, printed it again. And then you have 2 times character of the console. Drive, all this other stuff. Everything according to, I guess, however they did it at state space, A being against the real console. So now we have the console crosstalk, which is very minimal, but it's still there, and it's still doing something to the sound, which does not come with the channel strip by itself. And when they say that the Brainworks console hits 99%, ticks all the boxes, on sounding like the console, I think this adds the extra 1%. And now I don't think anybody, if you didn't watch this video, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell if this mix had been done on the real console or not. I know some shithead's going to come into the comments and probably say, I can tell the difference, but whatever. I don't think anybody would be able to. Especially after mastering, right? So either way, we got the character that we wanted. I did a little bit more surgery. I don't normally do this much surgery. And I did it without having to go grab, Pro Q3 or something. Did it by ear, using the mid-side functions. So solo mid-side, just to solo the mid, solo the sides, and then make an adjustment. I think that helped. I'm gonna have to compare it to my other mixes that I do. I don't know if it's a necessary step that you always have to do. But I think it's good to do it if there's a problem. I didn't really feel like any of my tracks had a serious problem that needed to be addressed in this manner, but I wanted to try it out. So, I mean, you can mix however you want, For me, I like speed. Also, changing the frequency knobs. We could do that. Trying shelf and bell curves and stuff like that. I didn't do the times and divided by 3 thing yet. But I like the sound I was getting already, so I didn't feel like I needed to change anything. I never used dynamic sidechain. Can't tell you what it does anyway. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but we also have a high pass filter on the compressor, so that the compressor is not responding to bass frequencies. It'll still compress the bass frequencies. It's just not going to respond, on the meters to the bass frequencies. I left the compressor unlinked on like stereo kind of stuff where I want more stereo shit happening. So therefore we can have a little bit of a uneven compression, a little bit on each side, each compressor responding in its own way. So therefore, like sometimes you would see on certain tracks where you'd see like 6 decibels of gain reduction on the right ear, but then 3 decibels gain reduction on the other. When you link it, then it'll just be that on both channels. That's what it is. And in this case, just went ahead and, on stuff like pianos and stuff like that where I want more stereo field, I'm going to leave each channel unlinked. And I'm going to have their own independent compressors on each channel. And then when it comes to, something like drums or whatever, we're going to link the channels. So I think that kind of covers everything. So, wow, can you believe it? I'm not over here just rambling for an hour. I do that sometimes. But there you go. I think the beat's pretty dope, man. Like, I mean, it's my beat, so of course it's good. Of course it's dope. It's my beat. I made this. But anyway, still, I still think that quality-wise, you know, I could have easily reached for like a 4000G or an E series, but the 9000J has so much going on under the hood that I really need to give it. I kind of need to make it my main shit, and the reason why I need to make it my main shit is because predominantly I'm working with modern sound, right? And everything SSL does to this day, it's all based around their 9000 series. They talk about their SSL native plugins, 9000K, right? Well, the 9000J, 9000K sound the same. The only difference was the computer, right? Duality, AWS, everything is all super analog, 9000 series, everything, right? So you want to do a modern mix, everything is still 9000. So you want to do modern mixing, you want to do modern sound, but then you want some of that analog flavor. You definitely need to be doing it with the 9000, with a plugin that emulates the 9000. You don't necessarily have to use the Brainworks one, but I'm using it because that's what I have and that's what I like. I like all the Brainworks consoles, I do, but obviously I'm creating like a base system to work off of and then occasionally play around with other consoles. But like my main shit, you know, like my main shit, everything always mixes. I have a serious project, 9000J, right? Because we need modern sound. We need that compressor that the SSL has. We need that 9000 series type EQ. We need probably the other shit that this thing does to be able to do a little bit more modern mixing, which would also entail, you know, parallel compression without having to set up a bus and do it. I can just do it right on the channel strip, which is wonderful. I could do parallel compression right on the channel strip. I can a lot of big mixers now are doing mid-side, you know, monitoring. So, which I don't know if they did that back in the past, but nowadays mid-side everything, right? So check the mids, check the sides, you know, okay, then move on to the next thing. And that's to ensure that you're getting the best possible sound quality out of each, help you make better decisions when you're mixing, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. So there you have it. That's my mix. I'm using Studio One because that has always been my favorite. Ever since I literally demoed Studio One for an hour and I went and bought it right away because that's how much I love this workflow. That's what I like about this workflow. Do I love Harrison's workflow? I do, man. It's cool. It makes me feel like I'm using a console, right? But at the end of the day, I'm in the box, and I need like an in the box like workflow that is just intuitive and everything's in front of me. I have my whole fucking space station in front of me here. My mixer's here, the editor window's there. I got everything in front of me. I don't have to go flipping through shit. I like that too. Hey, maybe when they make SSL mix bus, dude, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps. Some people don't like this kind of clutter though. So just, I guess, give people the option. But if they want to have it like this, I like this workflow like I do. I would love it, yeah, if they were like, my SSL channels were like this. But I mean, how much space do you have on the computer screen? Eventually everything's all fucking squished down and micro looking, and people are going to have a hard time messing around with that. So the only other thing I can think of is that perhaps they could probably just have the channel strip. I mean, no, but that kind of kills the idea of the workflow, though. They want console workflow. I don't know. I guess it is what it is, but this is just what I like. This is just workflow for what I like to do, so there you have it. Well, anyway, if you like my videos, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you want to see more, check out my other videos. I got a whole bunch of other videos. And until then, it's your boy Vigilante Styles, and I'm going to go do something else at this point. So you guys take care, and until we meet again, peace.